Alright, this is the legendary small warehouse search, also known as the garage bottles search. We'll start it off here by noting that we're back a good distance from that small start line. There is a hide over here, right by the start line. We'll see the exact placement later on. And we actually end up getting that last on our way back to the start line. Real key that you never count out your start area as a productive area to search later on in the search. So um, let's see how this gets started. Interesting thing, we start on a pretty good path, kind of taking a perimeter, knocking down hides, and then we hit a point where it just goes crazy. We go off the beaten path into the jungle, and we kind of start getting tripped up and lost, and you can really see how it slows down the pace of the search. So let's see what happens here. Good, so we got a good call down there on one of those bottles, charged right into the search area, past that one hide we know of up there, and almost to another hide that we'll get later on. But she hooked around and caught that one real well. So very clear, good start to the search. I come in hot and one of us snaps a bottle into the air. You can't avoid that here. That'll happen once or twice more. So it's a little dark, but we go deep into the corner. There's nothing deep in that corner. She comes out, and now she picks up what'll be her second find. She's waiting for me to get there. She already kind of located it. Okay, so that one was underneath that pallet and box there. So we pretty nicely cleared that whole back corner there, or at least Muriel did, but later on you'll see I kind of force her to go back and work that area again. Not to say there couldn't be something there, but I think we could have used our time better and searched other areas instead of going back to that particular spot. Alright, so that lone toy over there, that was the third hide we find. Something to note here from where we start. Now I'm being fairly grabby with her on the collar in a lot of these searches, but some of that's because if I don't get her redirected, she's just going to kind of circle back and try and hit that other hide again, and that's just an issue we work on all the time in training to try and keep her from double, triple dipping. Some people have dogs that do that, so they know the pain and the struggle. But what happens here is that I send her off, and I don't move from where I was when I sent her away. So I wanna just hang back and watch where she goes, and that's why she has such an easy path to this hide, because I'm doing nothing at the moment to influence her to move one way or another. So we get her moving on. She kind of cuts that corner between the wall and the dumpster. And here, let's see if we can see it. You can't quite see it at this angle, but there is a hide in a little black pipe on the wall over here. And so she kind of passes that and catches another hide. And now here's where she's breaking off into the jungle. And now it's very difficult for me to take any kind of patterned path here. I just have to hope that what she's doing is leading to something productive. So some of the things in the bottles, there might be some things in there that are somewhat interesting, but I also believe that this is caused by some odor movement. So here's a very clear, yeah. So that was very clear once she actually caught it on the backside and circled around and up. Very clear there's an odor inside that tube. I don't know how far down deep it is inside of it, but that odor's definitely escaping and kind of spilling out all over around that area in there. So it's really hard for her to decide where to search and what's going to lead her to the best path. So it took her a little while, and once she broke off and headed here, I kind of lost the momentum that we had earlier, and now the two of us kind of get into this little web where it takes a little bit longer and we bounce around and we end up with a false call too. So we'll see what happens here. So right there is a hide on that step stool. That's the one hide that we miss out of 8 in this search area. If I didn't say it at the onset, I probably wrote it. There are 8 hides here, and we had 6 minutes, and that's the one hide we miss. And she actually did kind of show a little interest, and I never ever go back there. So she went right by it and right over to a hide we passed on our way to the back of the search area the first time. Good. So it's that little toy down there, and you can see just how long she takes to puzzle all that out, going up and down. Hard to say. Could have something to do with the big open bay behind her. Could have something to do with the toy that has the hide having been moved a little prior by other dogs. Could even have something to do with that higher tube hide off of the screen here. Could be drifting all the way over there, hitting that ladder. But whatever the case, that one is a little trickier for her to source. So she takes her time and finally makes her decision. And we got a good call there. So I really get her going, completely block the step stool, as if I don't even want her to find it. So should have employed my strategy from earlier where I just stay put and see where she goes. Who knows why I did that, but that's what I did. So now we're making our way back to where that tube on the wall is. But first, she's going to decide to check out the blowing odor from the other hide. Alright, so there was a noise there. Let's see if we can hear it again. Alright, that was boneheaded handler stepping on a plastic bottle and crushing it. And that completely threw her off. So, in my mind, I felt like I interrupted her working something. And so now I had it in my head that I got to get her back for another chance to work it without me interrupting her. And maybe that wasn't the best strategy. I have a feeling in the future here I'm going to be crushing a few water bottles while we're working known hides so that I can be confident that noises while she's working an actual odor aren't going to bother her and aren't going to throw her off from working. Because there was no odor on this big metallic tube. So had there been odor, she may have stayed no matter what noises were made, but I thought that was the reason. So I actually, I say that was unfortunate, and then actually kind of encourage her to go back and check again. And then I call alert. And you could hear Luther, no, no, why would you do that? So we get a no on that one, and at this point we went through the search area and we found 1 right at the start, 2 over here, 3 here, and then since then we've really found a 4th and a 5th over by that ladder. we found that stuff probably took us twice as long as what it took us to find the first 3 just to find 2 more. So really slowed things down here, and then we get the false. And so now that we're done with that business, now she's going to decide, oh, okay, yeah, find an actual odor now that my handler's done messing around. So she's doing a lot of investigating here. And me coming through helped her to kind of push on. Alright. So, alert, what? Kind of had to say, that tube thing she was in. And make sure that it was a correct call. Once you get a false call in an area and you keep going, you never know what's going to happen after that. But there's a little black tube down there where she put her nose, and that was correct. So we were good on that one. Go ahead and reward. And then I go and send her into that one area I thought she missed, which was fine, but she cut it again to go to that hide. There she kind of worked it a little, but after 3 times, down, back, and down again, I got to be confident there's nothing there. Now I'm sending her by all the hides she's caught before, crushing water bottles as I walk. Never giving her another chance to go to that step stool. And then pushing her back into an area that we definitely cleared already, for who knows what reason. So an area where we found 2 hides, we're going to walk through again. But an area where we found 1 and a false, and we kind of neglected that whole space, we're just going to leave untouched for the rest of the time. So, tricky area to work through, but definitely I should have picked a path through the center rather than going, and who knows what she was doing there, but I called her off from path that might have led her to the other hide. Here, let's at least praise me for something done right here. So back here, she hit this point here. She hit that point there, which is probably a point where odor's moving from and collecting to, and she immediately shoots off on a path that looks like it could have led somewhere, and right when she turns back, that's me whistling to her. So, note to self, be a little more relaxed and let things play out a little bit longer. But at least I get back and I move myself completely beyond the start line to really make sure that she's got a fully open area to search here, not restricted by me at all. Telling her, hey, you can get beyond. And she does get beyond, and I ask her, come on, go search there. And that one got a yep right down there underneath her legs. She had her nose down there. So I was way back here at one point, and it took me getting back here to draw her this way and get her past it so she could work. Never be afraid to get beyond the area, whether it be within the boundaries or beyond the boundaries. You can think of container searches. Get way beyond the containers. You may still be in the defined area, but you're going to give your dog a chance to work things from a different angle where they may need to do that to catch it. And for her, she needed to get beyond to catch it. So we did a good job there, and we say finish right after that. So that's it. That's the end of that search. And a little bit of clapping there. So, 7 out of 8 with the 1 false. Not bad.